80s were a magical time. They revolutionized pop culture due to its amazing trends and styles. A lot of change and transformation took place during this era, including chunky cell phones, action figures, personal computers entering homes, the creation of the cable network MTV exclusively showcasing music videos. In the 80s, rock music was at its peak. A big part of that is due to the equipment the bands were able to use, like synthetic drums, VOX, audio tuning, drone chords, and better amps.
Well, my name is Cameron. I started guitar around 2020 during lockdown. I just was super cooped up in my room, and I had to figure something out for me to do to pass the time.
A long time ago, when I was in college, I took a guitar class, Intro to Guitar, and I really enjoyed it. I had a really cool professor. Her name was Sherry Kane, I think, and she was fun. She was a lot of fun, so she showed us how to play the chords, how to play popular songs. Sometimes if the weather was nice, we'd go outside, because in Michigan, sometimes if it's cold and rainy, no. But when it warmed up, we'd go outside, and there were probably 15 of us in the class. So I only had the one class, but it was a lot of fun, and I'm glad I took it.
I do really like Motley Crue, and my favorite song from Motley Crue would be Kickstart My Heart or Dr. Feelgood. Also Live Wire, that's a good song too. Well, because they were just very influential to me. They remind me a lot of my grandpa. He used to play them a lot when I was younger, so yeah.
Yes, U2, it's my all-time favorite band. They're from Dublin, Ireland. Van Halen is probably my second favorite 80s rock band. They were from, originally Eddie and Alex Van Halen, they were brothers, they started the band. They were from the Netherlands, I believe, and then they moved to America when they were younger. Simple Minds. Simple Minds is also another really good band from the 80s. They are from Scotland. And then if there was one more 80s band, I would say Midnight Oil, and they're from Australia. So you've got U2 from Ireland, you've got Van Halen from the Netherlands and America, Simple Minds from Scotland, and Midnight Oil from Australia. My favorite U2 song would be Bad. It's called Bad. Excellent song. From Van Halen, they had a really good song. It was called 5150, so 5150, called it 5150. From Simple Minds, there's a popular song called Don't You Forget About Me. And from Midnight Oil, they have a lot of good songs. One really good song in the 80s is very political. It's called Beds Are Burning. Beds Are Burning.
Well, it just sounds really cool, and it makes me feel cool when I listen to it. So
80s rock music is fun. It has a lot of energy. Sometimes it could get political. So sometimes the bands would sing about political issues or current events, and I liked that, trying to change the world with their music. But it's fun. 80s music is fun. It's energetic. We had the TV channel MTV, music television, started out in the 80s, and 80s bands, they realized real quickly that if they were going to get popular, they had to have a good video. They had a really good video along with their popular song to put it on MTV, because that's what the kids were watching back in the days, was MTV. So they had to then be kind of image aware. So some of them had really big hair, and they put hairspray in their hair, or they put makeup on their face. So it was almost like a big production, like a theatrical production. But there were some really good videos in the 80s. So 80s music is fun. 80s music was political, and it had an image to it.
I'd say it's a lot of just fast-moving riffs and just very loud, I would say.
It was, it was sometimes it could cross over between pop and heavy metal. So it was somewhere kind of in between, I think. There were some popular 80s songs, Van Halen, again, one of my favorite bands. They had a song called Jump, which some people thought it was a little bit too poppy to be rock, but it went to #1 on the US Billboards, which I thought was pretty cool. But also, 80s rock, when Eddie Van Halen, the guitarist from Van Halen, he met Michael Jackson, who was a big artist in the 80s, and they did this song called Beat It. And that's probably one of Michael Jackson's most famous songs. But Eddie Van Halen played guitar in the song for Beat It, which I thought was cool. So again, you're kind of mixing rock with pop. So 80s rock, it went a lot of different ways. It could kind of go to the pop section, but could also kind of go a little bit heavy metal, which was interesting.
Well, there's a lot of spiky hair, that's for sure, and very much like hair metal, pretty much too. Yeah, I'd say so. It would have to be either Motley Crue, of course, or Ozzy Osbourne.
Well, again, going with U2, my theme for my favorite bands, I've seen them 5 times. They're still together. They're in their 60s now, so they're a bit older, but they've been together since 1976, I believe, so almost, 47 years. Again, a lot of energy, good songs that I can connect with, that I feel that's a good song, that's an important song in my life.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for doing this. This is a lot of fun.
There were so many great songs released from this decade, it's hard to narrow down the list.